It's the start of May, and if you're a university student, that means it's the end of the semester. I teach a few university classes, and when I need to figure out final grades, I use a spreadsheet for that. And I total up all the points you earn in the semester, and I divide that by the total possible points, and that gives me a percentage. So let's do that here. So we're going to do a quick spreadsheet using LibreOffice, and I'll do the same thing in a DOS spreadsheet in a minute. And so here we've got your grade for the semester, and we can turn that into a letter grade in a minute. And so I'm just going to do, let's put in just a range of values so we can see what different grade letters would be. Let's start at 55%. That's obviously not a good grade. We'll step it up by 4%, so 0.59, just so we can see the range of values here. And then we'll stretch that down until we get to about 100%. And so we'll do 1.03. Say somebody got some extra credit. All right, so how do I turn that into a letter grade? Well, I need to do it over here. Now we need to do that with a table that basically shows values for each, where each grade starts, and then the letter grade that we associate with that. So this needs to be, I should say, a sorted table. And so we'll put in the bottom of the grade by score, and then the letter grade that corresponds to that. And so what do I mean? We need to actually have this sorted, like 0 is where it needs to start, and then 0.6 after that. So we're looking at an F grade, a D grade. There's no D plus, D minus, but we do have a C minus grade, and then a C grade, and then a C plus grade, and a B minus, and a B, and a B plus, and an A minus, and an A. We don't actually have an A plus. All right, and so where does the C minus start? It starts at 0.7, 70%, and then C starts at 0.73, 73%, 0.78, and then 0.8 for the B, 80%, 0.83 for regular B, and then 0.88 for a B plus, 0.9 for the A minus, and then 0.93 and above for an A. All right, let's go ahead and just format this, by the way, as a percentage, and we'll do the same thing over here. All right, and so this is the table that we want to work with. And so we want to do a function called lookup. And so we'll do this first letter lookup using a function called lookup. And there's another function you can use called VLOOKUP. It's basically the same, but let's do lookup first. And so if I want to do a lookup in that table based on the value of 55%, pulling from this range called a vector of things I want to search in, and then comma, and then the corresponding letter value, letter grade I want to put in if it finds a value within that particular range, that will give me a lookup. So 55% should be an F. And so that's what we've got there. We've got an F value for that. By the way, let's just center that. It's a little bit easier to see. All right, and so let's edit that so that way we can lock in our row values. Always like to lock in the row values. So we'll do $3 and $12, and that locks in the rows at column G, always starting at row 3, going down to column G, always at row 12. Do the same thing for the H. That's the results. And now that I've done that, I can now stretch this all the way down to see that we get A's going all the way up. And so that's using the lookup function, but we can also do that another way. We can use a VLOOKUP, and VLOOKUP is basically the same. So equals VLOOKUP. And for this one, we want to start with our search criterion, the 55%. And instead of providing each column or vector separately, we're actually going to indicate the entire table that we're pulling from. And then we need to tell it what column to pull from for the results. And it's going to be column 2, offset of 2, because VLOOKUP in modern spreadsheets starts counting column 1 as 1. In DOS, it's column 1 is 0. We'll see that in a second. And we get the same letter grade. And so we'll just enter that. And we can adjust our values so they always start at row 3 and always ends at row 12. And having done that, I can now click and drag and see I get exactly the same letter values for those grades using lookup or VLOOKUP. But I like to use DOS spreadsheets. So let's actually jump over to a DOS spreadsheet and do the same thing there. So Quattro Pro was pretty much the last major spreadsheet on DOS. It came out in the mid-1990s when Windows 3 was starting to dominate in offices, and a lot of offices used Windows, but Quattro Pro is still pretty popular too. So let me make basically the same kind of a table. We'll start with the grade and then the letter grade that we're going to look up. And this time we're going to use the slash to get into the menu, go over to edit, and we'll fill. And we're going to just hit dot so we can specify the range. I don't know how far down I need to go, so I'll just go down there. And we'll start at 55%. We'll do a step up of 4%. And we're going to stop when we get to 100%. Actually, just stop at 1.03. And it looks like I need to go one more cell to get 103. That's okay. And so the letter grade, same rules. So we need to have this table needs to be sorted. And so we're going to have a grade and then a letter equivalent. And again, it's going to start at 0 and up to 0.6. And this is going to be like an F and a D and a C minus, and a C, and a C plus, and a B minus, and a B, and a B plus, and an A minus, and an A. And so again, up here, it's going to be 0.7 to start at the C minus range, 0.73 to start at the C range, 0.78 to start at the C plus range, 0.8, 80% for the B minus, 0.83 for the Bs, 0.88 for the B plus, 0.9 for the A minus, and then 0.93 for the A's. And we could, if we wanted to, we could format that slash and then style and then numeric format, and this will be a percentage value, and I don't have any decimals to declare on that one, and it's going to be this range right there. The same thing over here, slash style numeric format percent, and no decimal places on this one. We'll just do that entire range there. All right, so now we've got percentage values up there, and so let's pull the letter grade off of that table. And so we're going to do, instead of using equals to start a calculation, we actually just do an at, because that's a function. And so it's the VLOOKUP, and we're going to pull the value to look up right over here, comma, and then we need to pull the entire range of our table, and so that's over here, hit dot so we can start going to the rest of the range, and then comma, and then what's the offset for the output? What column number do we need for the output? Well, it counts from 0 for the first column, and so to get the second column, we want to use 1. And so 55% is an F. Let's use F2 to edit that real quick so we can lock in these values, put $1 and $1 there, and now we can use slash edit and then copy from B2 all the way down to hit dot there so we can extend the range all the way down to the bottom. And so now we can see very easily, we can turn student grades into final letter grades. But my favorite DOS spreadsheet of all was As Easy As. So I'm going to jump over to that. So I'm going to do slash, get to the menu, do file, and I'll do exit. And I want to lose all my changes. And we'll go to As Easy As, and we'll just start As Easy. And so As Easy As got me through my undergraduate physics major in the early 1990s. And I still love using it today. It is easily my favorite spreadsheet of all time. As Easy As was shareware, but TRIUS later released As Easy As for free on their forums, and so you can get it there. So let me go ahead and create the quick range of some percentage values with fill. Now, unlike Quattro Pro, this really operates in text mode. So we're going to see this in text mode. And so we've got, again, our grade, and we have the letter value we're going to put in here, and we're going to use slash to get into the menu, and we're going to say D for data, and then we're going to do F for fill, and then we're going to, what range do we want? Let's go down to, I think there will probably handle it. And we'll start at 0.55 and we'll go up by 0.04. And there we go. I've got all the way up to 99%. Let's slash and then R for range and then F for format, and we'll do percent. And we'll do no digits after the decimal place. And then the range is going to be that. And there I've got my percentage values. Now over here, I want to create my table. So again, I want to have this table needs to be sorted. And I'm going to have a grade and a letter that comes out of it. So again, it goes from like 0 and like 0.6. And so you're going to have grades like F and D and a C minus and a C and a C plus, C plus, and a B minus and a B and a B plus, and an A minus and an A. Now, we actually can't use VLOOKUP here. As Easy As does not have a VLOOKUP. It has something similar, so we're going to see that in a second here. Let's finish putting in my values here. So in the bottom of the C minus is 0.7. The start of the C is 0.73, 73%, 78%, 80%, 83%, 88%, 90%, and 93%. Let's go ahead and do slash range format percent, 0 decimal places for all of that. All right, and so that's my table. And the function that we have in As Easy As is basically the same as VLOOKUP, but it's called VTable. And so again, DOS spreadsheets didn't use equal to start a calculation. They used at, for example, to reference a function. And so we're going to do that. We're going to do VTable. And I want to reference the value that I want to pull from, the 55%. And then same as we did before, I want to jump over here and say this is the range. So we'll hit dot so I can enter in the rest of the range. And then comma, and then what's the offset? Again, columns start counting from 0. So if I want the second column where the letter is, then it needs to be column 1, because column 0 would be the first column, which would be the grade, the number grade. And so that will give me an F for 55%. Do F2 so you can edit that real quick. We'll put in the dollar signs in here so that way we're always starting at row 3 and always ending at row 12, even when we do copy to change this calculation. And so now we can do slash and then C for copy. We'll hit return on that, and we'll go down here and we'll hit dot, and we can now fill in the rest of the range. And there you go. So that is how you turn student grades into letter grades for final grades. And that's all you need to do. So what did you think of this video? Let me know in the comments below. Visit our website at freedos.org, join us on Facebook, follow us on Mastodon, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you.